As Pak-based terror bleeds India, the Board of Control of Cricket in India has made its stand clear. Sources say that the BCCI has decided that Team India won't travel to Pakistan for the Champions Trophy 2025. Instead, Times Now has learned that the board will suggest to the ICC a hybrid model, as part of which Dubai and Sri Lanka will be suggested as alternative venue options for India's matches. Sources say that the Pakistan Cricket Board has offered that India play all matches in one city, but the BCCI is in no mood to budge from its stand. Meanwhile, the opposition appears to be divided on the BCCI's decision. While some call for an all-out boycott of cricket with Pakistan anywhere in the world, others have said that cricket could have paved the way for improving ties between the two nations.
पाकिस्तान के साथ हमें कोई भी रिश्ता रखना नहीं चाहिए, चाहे क्रिकेट में खेल का मैदान हो और चाहे सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम हो, चाहे फिल्मी दुनिया की कोई बात हो, चाहे इनके साथ कोई इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट का व्यवहार हो, सब बंद करना चाहिए। पाकिस्तान एक आतंकवादी देश बन चुका है और क्रिकेट का जो आईसीसी का टूर्नामेंट होने वाला है 2025 में, उसमें तो कतई हमको जाना नहीं है। न पाकिस्तान जाना है, न दुबई में खेलना है, न शारजाह में खेलना है, कहीं इनके साथ मैच नहीं खेलना है।
काफी साल हो गए हमने बाइलैटरल एक दूसरे के मुल्कों में नहीं खेला है। अब टूर्नामेंट के हवाले से अगर इंडिया की टीम नहीं जाएगी तो ये बीसीसीआई का अपना फैसला है। मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि इस मुल्क में और इन दोनों मुल्कों के दरमियान बेहतर रिश्ते कायम करने में जिम्मेदारी सिर्फ हमारे मुल्क की नहीं है। अगर इस मुल्क में बेहतर रिश्ते इन दोनों मुल्कों के दरमियान बेहतर रिश्ते बनाने हैं तो इसकी बहुत ज़्यादा जिम्मेदारी जो है पाकिस्तान की भी बनती है। जिस तरह के हमले हो रहे हैं वो नहीं होने चाहिए, जिस तरह का माहौल बना हुआ है वो नहीं बनना चाहिए। पाकिस्तान को भी अपना इसमें रोल अदा करना होगा कि मुल्क के दोनों मुल्कों के दरमियान जो ताल्लुकात हैं वो बेहतर रहें।
अगर क्रिकेट वहाँ होता तो कोई बुरी बात नहीं थी। इसी बहाने से बहुत से डिप्लोमेटिक रास्ते खुलते, लेकिन अब चूंकि इनका मन है कि नहीं जी 2025 में अभी होना क्या है, 2025 तो अभी 24 है, तो उन्होंने कहा है कि इस तरह करना है। तो मैं समझता हूं कि ये रास्ते बंद नहीं करने चाहिए, इनको खुला रखना चाहिए डिप्लोमेसी के लिए। इसको बैकडोर डिप्लोमेसी भी कहते हैं, जिससे उम्मीद बन जाती है कि शायद कहीं ना कहीं को रास्ता मिले, क्योंकि हमने जंगें भी कर ली हैं, सड़कें चल।
The BJP, meanwhile, has welcomed the BCCI's decision, saying that India can't travel to Pakistan to play cricket when terrorists are being sent from across the border to kill our soldiers and our citizens.
बम और गोली के बीच में खेल नहीं खेला जा सकता। जब आप आतंकवादियों को भेजते हैं, हमारी जनता को मारने का काम करते हैं, सैनिकों को मारने का काम करते हैं, और हम सौहार्दपूर्ण वातावरण चाहते हैं और आप लगातार ऐसी आतंकवादी घटनाओं को बढ़ाने का काम करते हैं, तो इसमें खेल नहीं खेला जा सकता। एक अच्छा कदम है और मुझे लगता है इससे पूरे विश्व को भी शिक्षा मिलेगी।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the show, we have Niranjan Shah, who's a former secretary of BCCI, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, retired, who's a defense expert. Also joining us on the panel is Syed Fazal Kashani, political analyst, Vivek Srivastava, Tehseen Poonawala, and Dr. Anand Ranganathan continue to be with us from debate number 1. Let me start with you first, Vivek Srivastava. Vivek Srivastava, the point that is being made over here is that, how can we possibly play cricket in Pakistan at a time when we've seen not one, not two, but about 7 terror attacks take place in Jammu and Kashmir in less than a month?
Right. So that means that at least the media agrees that removing 370 has not sorted out matters for any betterment in Kashmir. That is the first part. Moving ahead on the topic that we are discussing, I think from what I have been following in the media, the BCCI has written to ICC and said that we are not sending our squad of headed by Rohit Sharma to Pakistan, and Lahore was the venue that had been mentioned by the Pakistanis because of security reasons is what they have said. So now the fact is there needs to be more clarity from the BCCI officially whether we are not going there because of a security threat to our players, or is it a government decision and BCCI decision that it is a sort of an enemy country which is having terror attacks on our country, therefore we are trying to boycott. That clarity has officially not come. As far as the politics of it is concerned, You see, we have to save our nation from terror attacks. We need to be tough. We need to take a tough stand. At the same time, backdoor diplomacy must continue. Both the processes must continue. It happened in the time of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Prime Minister Modi also went and met Nawaz Sharif and tried to break the ice in the middle on his own way. So both the processes go side by side. Ultimately, we are all neighbors, and somewhere the ice has to break. And I think talks and backdoor diplomacy is also a necessary issue. But the BCCI
backdoor diplomacy necessitates cricket being played.
Sending the squad.
Vivek Srivastava, does backdoor diplomacy necessitate cricket being played?
No, yeah. See, as far as these two countries are concerned, the things that we share, there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of Urdu, there's a lot of poetry, there are many things that culturally people from both the sides share. That includes the classical music also, that includes the ragas also, that includes cricket also. Therefore, I think somewhere or the other, talks must go on, and cricket could be a way, provided there is no security threat to our players.
No, but we've seen terror attacks on multiple teams. And in fact, let me bring in Niranjan Shah. Niranjan Shah, I think people's memories tend to be very short. People have forgotten what's happened to different teams, whether it's New Zealand or whether it is, the Sri Lanka team at the Gaddafi Stadium in 2009. All these are, attacks that have taken place, have been very widely reported. But somewhere people tend to forget the real threat that exists on ground in Pakistan. Niranjan Shah.
Yes, see, actually all the World Cups, like World Cup in India, World Cup अभी जो West Indies or America में हुआ, where we have played against Pakistan. So we have to take part in all the World Cup or ICC tournament. But to play in the Pakistan at their venue is totally depend upon what our government thinks. We have to depend upon totally government. Security is a different matter. But if they have come to India, we have played in America. I think all ICC tournament, we all are playing. But to go and play in Pakistan is pure a government has to take decision because they know more about our security in that country. So it is not in BCCI.
All right. Let me bring in Tehseen on that. Tehseen, what is the problem? At the end of the day, it's a stated policy of our government that talks and terror can't go hand in hand. Can cricket and terror go hand in hand?
No, it cannot, and it shouldn't. And therefore, I'm against one-off tournaments or bilateral series between India and Pakistan. I'm very clear of this. But, I was researching and I asked my research team to tell me, has BCCI formally communicated a no to the PCB? And the answer to that is no. This is a story put out by sources in a news agency. It's not actually been confirmed so far by BCCI. That's point number one. And I've seen number two. What I can see is what I saw at my eyes during the World Cup, when shamelessly, when our Indian soldiers were actually martyred during the World Cup, shamelessly the BCCI and PCB were hosting dinners for each other. There was a dance tournament, there was a dance entire entertainment program for the Pakistan-India match and dance program which happened for no other team. There was dinners hosted for the then PCB chairperson in Delhi. My friends attended that dinner. There was another dinner hosted in Mumbai. So there were these special dinners hosted for the PCB. And my thinking is maybe this is shadow boxing. They do it so that an atmosphere, political atmosphere, enormously created, but actually go ahead and have the tournament the way it is. Because even prior to the World Cup in India, Pakistan threatened to boycott in India, asked for a hybrid model. All of this happened. And ultimately they were here. And what happened? Dance program for the Pakistan cricket team, dinners for the Pakistan chairperson. I'm sure Mr. Shah must have attended that dinner. I'll tell you which hotel it happened in Delhi, the dinner. So this is the problem. This, unfortunately, not true. Can the BCCI confirm today on Times Now, and I'm sure they're watching Times Now, that this is put on letter?
Mr. Niranjan Shah, I would like to respond to that. Why was a red carpet rolled out for the Pakistan team when it came to India? That's a question from Tehseen.
No, red carpet is fine. It was a World Cup. That dance, was that?
It's okay. Tehseen, you asked a question. Let him get a response in, please. Yeah. Mr. Niranjan Shah.
Yeah, I think when team comes or their officials come, like any political diplomats come, always there is a party and everything. We can't behave like a child and not to see them or not to do this. See, after all, we are playing cricket with them, and India, Pakistan match is most sought after match. So there is no doubt about it. So, and we are playing, and we are playing in 2 years, 2 matches against each other. So where is that? But only to play in Pakistan, that is the most question, and that is only answer given to us or to BCCI is by our government, and government can decide whether our team is safe is there or not. It is up to them.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Kashani on that note as well. Syed Fasal Kashani, what is the big deal? Many will ask, because this has happened in the Asia Cup in the past also, where there was a hybrid model. So it's not happening for the first time. Yet we see a lot of people come out and say, no, we should play in Pakistan. What's the urgency and why this push?
See, there are two things to mention here. One is, I agree with Mr. Tehseen Poonawala when he mentioned that what government portrays on news channels or tries to portray in public and what happens in actual is completely two different stories. Now coming to the security of our team in Pakistan, it is the duty of the intelligence agencies of our country to see if our team is secure there or not. Now, if
intelligence agencies of our country to protect our team in another country, what are you saying? The law and order situation over there, if there are terrorist attacks happening on different countries, whether it's the Sri Lanka team, whether it's the New Zealand team, I have a list of terror attacks that have taken place during cricket matches and on cricket teams. So what is the Indian government supposed to do if there are terrorists in that country?
No, that's exactly my point. I mean, our intelligence agencies have to analyze whether our team will be safe there or not. I mean, it is the responsibility of our country to ensure that our team is safe, be it any country they visit to. So this is an exercise that is usually done in every country. So there is nothing new about it. Now, if our agencies are convinced that this is safe, keeping politics aside, I think we should go and play in Pakistan. There's no harm in that. And talking about the terrorist attacks happening in Jammu and Kashmir, which is sponsored or funded by Pakistan, our government is dealing with them accordingly. So there is nothing to mix and match, like mix these two things up.
In fact, before I cross to Dr. Ranganathan, I want to bring in Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, why are we mixing terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir with the playing of cricket in Pakistan? And it is wherever the Indian team chooses to go, it is our defense, intelligence agencies, etc. that should ensure their security. How do you respond to this argument coming from Mr. Kashani?
See, Madhav, I look at it this way. If Pakistan is using terror as an instrument of state policy, if Pakistan was not to use terror as an instrument of state policy and was to use cricket and culture as an instrument of state policy, it would be welcome. But you can't have both of it going together. You have to convey to Pakistan in no uncertain terms that this is not the way to be a neighbor. And if you want to continue using, it's not only here. You see, Ziaul Haq used to be coming over here. Who's the man responsible for having what you call it as, it's called Nizam-e-Mustafa. The number of madrasas that came up during the time of Ziaul Haq, amazing. There were just 137 of them in 1947. And by the time it is today, 2024, there are over 12,000 madrasas, over 15 million children studying over there. This is what Pakistan is doing all about. Look at Afridi. What is Afridi talking about? 47 episodes. It is the same band that came into India. And what is talk about Ghazwa-e-Hind? They are cricketers. Look at Imran Khan. We thought when he became Prime Minister, the relations would improve between the two countries. Instead, they deteriorated. He started being called Taliban Khan. If this be the state of Pakistan with India, I think it is time that Pakistan must use cricket culture as an instrument of state policy, not terror as an instrument of state policy. And BCCI is a business body. It can take its own decision. The government of India will decide very clearly that whether to participate or not to participate, depending upon the kind of input that it has. And I think the government of India is absolutely duty-bound to decide what it wishes to. And I'm sure it will decide in the interest of the cricketers and in the interest of the country.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if the analysis is that it is not appropriate or secure enough for the team to travel, then certainly, of course, the team will not travel, Mr. Kashani. It doesn't have to necessarily send anybody abroad if they feel that the atmosphere there is not safe, particularly when other teams have been attacked.
No, that's my point. If we feel that our team is not safe, there is no need to go to the country.
But there are those who are saying, still, please go. Back channel talks are so important. We should have our teams there. Let's have the back channel talks. Let's have all kinds of discussions. That's exactly the kind of rhetoric we are hearing.
See, I I still believe what Mr. Vajpayee has said, that we cannot change our neighbors. So there has to be a way out to, normalize the situation. And cricket can be one initiative from our side. And about terrorist attacks that are happening, our soldiers are dealing with them bravely.
Okay, Dr. Ranganathan?
So it's not about like we are on the back foot, we are always on the front foot for that.
Okay, Dr. Ranganathan.
Having heard all my erudite fellow panelists, can I please be given the courtesy of a couple of minutes? I have 3 important points to make very briefly. Number 1, I humbly disagree with all those who say you should not mix politics with sports. I think that's wrong, because for 40 years, we decided to not have any political relations with South Africa, even though South Africa was at that point of time in the 50s and 60s one of the 5th richest economies of the world. We did it on the basis of principle, because South Africa was an apartheid state. For 40 years, we refused to play cricket with South Africa, even though England did, because we stood for our principles. So for people to say, do not mix politics with sport, I think they are wrong. Number 2, and this is very important, Pakistan, as the good general said, as Tehseen agreed, as everyone agreed, Vivek as well, Pakistan is a terror state. It is not only a terror state, it has continued to foment terror on our soil, 26/11, so many other instances as well. Now, as far as securing our team is concerned, who can vouch for it? The fact of the matter is that Pakistan is still hiding terrorists that we require, right from Dawood Ibrahim to Hafiz Saeed. This is the country we expect to save our team. Finally, the point of the matter is, you remember Salman Taseer, Madhav, he was a top-ranked Pakistani ambassador, I think administrator, who said some innocuous thing in support of a Christian lady. His own bodyguard murdered him. And, leave aside the fact that Pakistan was horrified. They were celebrating it as a punishment for blasphemy. They are zombies. This is a country to expect them to, protect us. You have to be in zombie land. And finally, there has to be some hypocrisy that has to be apportioned to the government as well. What is their principal stand? Is it their principal stand that we will not play any sport with a terror state? Or is it their principal stand that we will not go to a terror state? If it is the latter, then come clean. But if it is the former, then why are you playing Pakistan on neutral soils as well? Hold true to what we did against South Africa. Do not play Pakistan, that's it, period.
Is that something that's practical? In fact, Mr. Shah, I'd like you to take that question. Is that practical? Why play Pakistan at all is a question coming in from Dr. Ranganathan.
Every international ICC tournament or Olympic or anything, every country, there are wars between that country, but they take part. So this is one type of protocol between all countries, that you must take part in the all international tournament. Whether to play that places or not, it is everything depend upon his government. They decide whether this team should go there and play. But I think all international tournament, everybody has to take part, and that is the protocol in the whole world.
Okay, I think that's a practical point as well, that it's a protocol. You have to take part in international tournaments. Otherwise, there's obviously the possibility that you can get disqualified. But Vivek Srivastava, here's an important point that was made by Dr. Ranganathan. It's not just, Mr. Salman Taseer. Their own prime ministerial candidates, Benazir Bhutto, they can't secure them, leave alone the Indian cricket team.
Yes. See, I would like to speak in a different tone. First of all, Dr. Ranganathan mentioned South Africa. Very rightly he said it, there was apartheid over there. But South Africa is not our immediate neighbor. Pakistan हमारा immediate neighbor है. And you have to deal it within such a way so that relations improve. From their side also, initiative should be there. From our side also. Number 1. Number 2, he talked of Salman Taseer. Yes. But you need to know that that the people of Pakistan, the people of India could be very different from the government of Pakistan. There are so many YouTubers today. There are so many people in Pakistan, so many youngsters who want better relations with India. They do not agree with their own government. Let's not try to just label the citizens of a nation totally as anti-you. That is not the way. So backroom diplomacy, backroom talks need to happen. Cricket, music, exchange of literature, cultural programs, dramatics, this is the way to go about it parallelly. And yes, we need to, if there is a security threat, I am very sure we should not send the team. But saying that we must boycott Pakistan on all fronts, I do not agree with it. And Mr. Imran Khan, before he became the Prime Minister, he gave an interview where he said, and he acknowledged, that unfortunately over the years, There has been so much of poisoning in the citizens regarding Kashmir that for any politician to be successful, the Kashmir issue is very hot. As far as the communists are concerned, Faiz was visiting India in the CPI headquarters, Mumbai, in Mushairas, coming. He was in Pakistan. They prosecuted him. Those things are there. But we need to improve relations.
Vivek, simple question. Talks and terror can't go hand in hand is a stated government policy. Do you agree with that or not?
They can.
You're okay with terror attacks taking place while we talk to Pakistan?
Terror can go. You have to tackle it out. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not support terrorist acts against my own country.
So then why engage with a country that's pushing terror as an instrument of state policy?
खेल रहे हैं सर आप पाकिस्तान के साथ न्यूजीलैंड में खेलेंगे ना आप खेलेंगे पाकिस्तान के साथ न्यूजीलैंड में आप इंग्लैंड में खेलेंगे You'll be playing in another country.
No, but playing in the country and playing in another country, there is a difference. Mr. Niranjan Shah has just highlighted why, as per ICC, we need to play on another country. We don't necessarily need to go to Pakistan for the security reasons there. But I want Dr. Ranganathan to come in now. Dr. Ranganathan.
Sir, Madhav, look, now Vivek, one second. Look, nobody is generalizing and saying every Pakistani is a terrorist. Absolutely not. Even when we were boycotting South Africa, we were eulogizing South Africans like Dr. Christian Barnard, Nadine Gordimer. So this to generalize is completely wrong. Having said that, let the proof of the pudding be in the eating. Does Vivek consider Dawood Ibrahim as a terrorist, most wanted Indian terrorist? Yes, he is. So why doesn't Pakistan give Dawood Ibrahim to us? It won't. So obviously its intention is not true. And finally, to give Vivek his due, Vivek has always been soft on our enemies. In 1962, when we were having our war with China, Mr. Achyutanandan, who was then went on to become the Chief Minister of Kerala, he decided to have some blood donation camps. He was demoted by the same Communist Party for having blood donation camps in aid of our Jawans. So communist का अलग चल रहा है, वो मानता हूं इनकी बात. Vivek will not go against what the dictum of the thing is. He will always side with his country. वो अलग बात है, country कौन सी है specify करना पड़ेगा.
That included the great Faiz Ahmad Faiz, whose name I took.
Did you demote Achyutanandan or not?
You need to know.
Did you demote?
So you cannot be warmonger. I am not a warmonger and I don't support war.
Did you demote Achyutanandan?
War is violence. People are killed.
Or having blood donation camps?
Peace has to be the way, and you need to talk for peace.
All right. Sometimes, Vivek, many would say that, repeated attempts giving dossier after dossier, when it does not work. Let me bring in fact, General Kulkarni on that. General Kulkarni, for peace, you have to talk. But what has been India's experience? When we've seen, summits like Agra or the Lahore visit, we get Kargil in return. We've seen, for instance, what has happened, when there were various dossiers given. We saw the various attacks such as 26/11. We saw what has happened in Gurdaspur. Every time there's an attempt or an overture at peace, this is how we get it in kind from Pakistan. Would you like to refresh Vivek Srivastava's memory? General Kulkarni.
See, Madhav, there's no denying the fact that in Pakistan, it's hate India. I've studied in Pakistan. That initial schooling of mine is from Pakistan in Karachi. So I know exactly what it is. And slowly and steadily in education also, Pakistan is hate India. There's no question. Not just the Pakistan militaries hate India. It's slowly and steadily, it's gone into the public. Yes, there are good people. There are good people everywhere. But there are very few good people in Pakistan. And most of them are now radicalized. They're totally fundamentalist, all because of the madrasas that are springing up over there. And therefore, Pakistanis need to be told that India is a neighbor, a good neighbor, believes in being nice to them, but if they cross the red line, we do not allow these kind of things to happen. And only a neighbor can be taught. Who else can be taught? Pakistan has been using terror all through since 1947. Till date uses terror as an instrument of state policy. You can't do like this. You got to be telling Pakistan nothing doing, no trade, no culture whatsoever. Okay, so it's part of that ICCI or whatever it's so Olympics committee and you all have to be playing together. That's a different thing. But
General Kulkarni, I have to come in now. I'll have to come in now. Of course, interesting topic certainly to discuss. And I'd like to thank all our panelists. In fact, before I let go of our panelists, just want to leave some food for thought. This is what Javed Miandad said when, in 2023, India refused to tour Pakistan. He said, forget security. If death is your destiny, it will come for sure. Life and death are in the hands of the Almighty. So that's the approach as far as a big cricketer of Pakistan is concerned. Javed Miandad and his famous or rather infamous brother-in-law who was mentioned earlier by Dr. Ranganathan, Dawood Ibrahim. I'd like to thank Dr. Ranganathan, Niranjan Shah, Lieutenant General Kulkarni, Tehseen Poonawala, Vivek Srivastava and Syed Fazal Kashani for joining us this evening.